appreciate everyone coming out. We would, if you want to have one final chance to wrap up with maybe a 1-minute statement, your choice. If you'd like to do that, I don't know, should we start in the middle of the time? I don't know if you want to go for it.
Sure. I mean, I spent a lot of my opening about what I would like to see done in terms of meeting our kids' needs better, our individual needs better. That inclusion is something we have, I think, forced on everybody. And while it is great for some kids and people who really thrive in it, we're not doing it right. And I want to see a lot of things. To me, I think we need to go back a little bit. We want to depend on the form of direction. We want to go back to the center in a way that has the common sense, the individualized part of the IEP, to put emphasis on that, and really do a better job of serving all of our kids, but particularly our kids with special education needs. They don't have a voice that a lot of
I'd like to thank you all for your time tonight. This is the last, I believe, candidate forum we're going to have together. So I just wanted to thank all the candidates. It's an honor to be associated with you. We have some wonderful candidates running in this race. I often tell people, I'm not running against any of these people. I'm running against complacency and cynicism. There are people that say we can't do this because we're not going to be getting the budget increases. Or there are people that say we have a really good school system. We don't, need to coach during this time. Those are the things that I'm running against. Those are the things that I don't stand for. What I do stand for is that we can be innovative and we can do more even though we may be spending less. I do believe that's the epitome of fiscal responsibility. I think that we can have innovations, and some of those great innovations can come from our community, because one of the reasons we have such a great public school system is because we have a good public. And we need to have more of that public involved, not only giving us innovations of what needs to be done, but also having more public input and involvement, not just feedback, not just after it's almost fully baked and done, just getting feedback if you like it or not, but real input and involvement as volunteers sitting in on discussions and being involved. That's why I'm running. I hope I can become your vote representative.
Thank you for listening to us this evening. Like I said in my opening statement, I'm in education. I see it every day. I see the barriers that students face before they enter the classroom. From working in a Title I school, I work with teachers and educators to make sure that we remove those barriers, to give each student the education that they deserve. Each child, all children, all means all, and that's how it should be across the board. The 88% graduation rate that you heard about earlier today, Howard County Public Schools can do better. There's 12% of students, they might be on a certificate track, but there are students that need to better prepare and meet their needs. We need to make sure that our students are engaged and that they are engaged in meaningful instruction that where they can graduate with 21st century skills that they can apply to real world situations. Thank you so much. My name is David Proudfoot.
Hi, again, Cindy Valancourt. I hope you'll vote for me, and I'm just going to rapid fire a couple of things that I would like everybody to think about. One is that I think we could save a lot of the budget questions on how are we going to pay for these different things if we would just quit fighting with having it be an adversarial situation, so that we can take all the extra money out of the litigation budget and actually spend it on the kids. The other thing is that it really, I feel like crying, and I'm sorry to feel looking emotional, but it's heartbreaking to me to continue to hear, even after all this time, that we all need to advocate for our children, because goodness knows that we all have been. And you have a child who has special needs. You already are exhausted and emotionally involved, and you've been fighting and advocating for it since the day they were born, practically. And what we need is some help. And we need to have our school board, from the top down, make it the plan that we're going to work cooperatively with the parents and not have them have to go on some kind of a secret scavenger hunt to figure out where they can go to get what their kid needs. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time this evening. This has been a very, very helpful process. I came here as a person who is concerned about people and concerned about all of our children doing well. The question that the gentleman asked about his son reading at a 4th grade level in 8th grade took me back personally. And it reminds me that while my sons went through the school and didn't have particular challenges and needs, it reminded me of my own personal struggle. And so I have not just a personal compassion for the needs of all students, but I think it's incumbent upon us, one of the wealthiest counties in the country. We brag about how great our school system is, and we need to make sure that our school system is great for all of our children. And I commit to you that I will give you all of my passion in doing that, looking out for the interest of all of our students, not just those who are doing very well. My name is Larry Walker. I would appreciate your vote, your support in early voting and on November 2nd.
Thanks again for coming. It was a pleasure to hear your concerns. It's been a pleasure to hear your concerns over the last 4 years, and hopefully I've assisted in some small way in helping those concerns get resolved. I can give you a long laundry list of reasons as to why I want to run, but I'm going to relay to you a personal experience that just happened this evening. It's a real reason. And unfortunately or unfortunately, the parent is left. Shortly after arriving here this evening, a woman came up to me who I'd never met, and she said that 2 years ago, I spoke with her on the phone a number of times to help her with the problem, and it got resolved. And that's the reason why. Frank, Reno, please do.
Thank you again. My name is Robert Ballinger. Please go to my website, www.ballinger4boe.com, and you'll see where I stand. I've said throughout this campaign, I stand for fiscal responsibility and ensuring that we spend the money correctly. It's your money, and we need to make sure that we do it in the proper way. The second thing I said is that we need to ensure that educators and parents are involved in the process. I want to be a board member who will listen and have concern when you have concerns, and will follow up and find out those answers for you and be there as support for you. The last thing I've always said, and I feel very strongly about this, I'm passionate about this, I want to ensure that every child in Howard County gets the best quality education, because they are our leaders of tomorrow. And every child, from a child that goes to GT program in Centennial High School, to a child with special needs, to a child that's in Cradle Rock School and is underachieving, we need to make sure every child gets that education so they can be the quality leaders of tomorrow. I've sat there for you. I want to represent you, and I understand the issues we have. If you elect me to the school board, I will promise you I will take my passion, your passion, and make sure we make great decisions with the school board. Thank you very much.
Well, all I can say is I am not an expert. I don't have all the answers, and I feel as if it's my responsibility to constantly educate myself by talking to the experts, talking to parents, and hearing the concerns. One thing that is new is the attitude toward non-public placement. The adversarial part is going to be taken away. New leadership. This is the way we move from good to great. The other thing is, people criticize the assessments all the time, but please recognize that our special education children were kind of glossed over and ignored before MSAs. 19% would succeed in the first administration of that test. Now we're up to 60%. That is not good enough, but we're getting there, and there's hope. So don't give up on your children. Keep hope alive. We're going to work with you and make every child successful.